I'm Barbara Renton, and my normal day job is the Executive Director of Housing and Environment. But like many of you, since the start of the pandemic, I've been doing something different, as I've been the Gold Commander, leading with the Chief Executive and other senior council officers the council's overall response to the COVID-19 emergency. As with all other emergencies, it's normal for the council to put in place a command structure, and that's what we did back on the 16th of March when the first meeting took place. Since then, we, along with all our residents, you, all councils, businesses, basically most of society, have been in lockdown, making this an emergency unlike anything any of us have ever experienced. This has had many challenges, but with all that challenges, there have been many opportunities. And you have risen to those opportunities in many, many different ways. From our refuse collectors out every day to those who've supported people being shielded or are most vulnerable through telephone calls, food and pharmacy drop-offs, to those who have made grant payments to businesses and to individuals, to those who've ensured invoices have been paid to support businesses to keep them going, to name just a tiny, tiny proportion of the work which has been going on over the last 10 weeks or so. You've been incredible, and I can't begin to describe how proud I and all our senior management team are of you, especially when many of you are doing this while also home learning with or providing childcare for your own children, volunteering yourselves, to support those in your communities, while also working from home, out with the normal office setting and adapting to using technology in different ways. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
So Barbara, what's it been like for you personally working from home for, what has it been, the last 2 or 3 months now? How have you found it?
Okay, so it's been very busy. I think, I think it's been fair to say, very full days. And at the start of the response, it was immediate, lots of demands, issues to resolve almost instantly, huge amount of guidance coming in from the Scottish Government, Public Health Scotland, and a huge number of different sources. That's slowed down a little bit, slightly, and it's given more time to reflect on things. So we're now looking at our approach to recovery and renewal and what the future of the council will look like, but building on, what our communities and you as our staff will be telling us, and you need to be at the centre of all of that. We haven't always got things right, I think that's fair to say, but we've always tried to do the best, and to think about the impact that has had on everybody, especially for the many people who haven't found, the current situation particularly easy for whatever reason. I'm not the most digitally able person, I think it's fair to say, but the speed in which IT have moved to support us from working from home was just incredible. Teams, which we had just been beginning to use, has been brilliant from my perspective. Being able to keep in touch and see people at the same time has certainly made a big difference to the way that I've been able to work from home. And I know that from that I've had from others that many of you have enjoyed that opportunity as well. It's not the same, there's nothing quite like being able to see people in the flesh, but it has made a huge difference in how we've been able to handle the response and how we're thinking about the recovery as well going forward. And it has been so much easier for me than lots of other people. Both my kids are older while still at home, which I've been really grateful for as well. It's great to have them here. But we haven't had the daily routine of, schoolwork, care, and I know that that's been an issue for many of you. So I absolutely salute the people who've been working and doing that as well, so thank you for that too. In terms of personally, I've really enjoyed not having to travel to work. It's not far for me. It's about 20-25 minutes probably. But that opportunity just to get up, to start work, has been really good. And finally, I've been able to actually hold to the promise I've made to myself and to my husband, in terms of closing my laptop and then going out for a daily walk. And I found that hugely beneficial, one, to my health, but also to put things into perspective from time to time as well. And that's something that, wherever we return to normal, which will be probably considerable time away, then I hope that will continue as well. We obviously, are beginning to look at what it would look like, particularly for Fuller House, because that's really the only office building that we have open, and that deliberate choice, because for some people, the services that they deliver, they couldn't have done that from home. So the Heart team, for example, from the Health and Social Care Partnership, they've always been in, and we will continue to make Fuller House open, but we're really actively encouraging people not to return to work. The government guidance is still very clear about staying at home, and we will not deviate from that. We're obviously looking at how we can make arrangements for those who need to come back when we're ready for them to come back as well. But there will not be a huge return and a huge rush to get people to work, back in Fuller House or the other offices that they worked from. Because that's not what the guidance is saying, and certainly in terms of physical distancing, that's going to be really difficult. But we are starting to think about it and to include it in our planning. The other bit that I would ask, as part of the recovery and renewal work that we're doing, and our overall approach, is we need to know what the impact on our communities, on our staff and our employees and our teams has been. So as you will be aware, there is a staff survey out, and I would encourage absolutely everybody, to put down what their views, what's worked, what has worked, what to improve on, because that's the only way that we can really analyse what the impact has been, so that we can then start to think about what the future looks like as well. I have not been surprised about the level of response, about the commitment of, so many people across the council, and the commitment of our communities as well, about working together to make sure that everybody was supported in the best possible way. I have often talked, and written about how proud I am of the everybody that works in that environment, and everybody actually that works in the council as well. And this has just re-emphasised to me about, the importance of local authorities and local government and what we do. It's also reinforced to me, about what a caring and kind and motivated and dedicated workforce we have. And our community's response as well, what I've loved seeing is reactions to, our refuse collectors, who, have just been there, on a daily basis, but people really appreciating the work that they've done and continue to do. And I know that that's the same for people like our parking attendants who are out delivering pharmacy, food. And that's those, again, just slight, very, very small examples of people going the extra mile. And that bit, reaffirms what local government and public service is to me. And I'm really, really grateful for that. What we've done, and one of our service managers said at a meeting we had a couple of weeks ago, is what we've done, I think, is build an awful lot more trust with our communities, and hopefully trust amongst ourselves and people that work for the council. And I would want that to continue. We need to build on that. That's one of the main focus of the work that we're doing in terms of the impact analysis, is to see where that trust is built up, how that trust is built up, and to make sure that we continue to have that trust between ourselves and our communities as well. And I think that the recognition in social media in particular, the number of likes, and the number of users with all our social media channels, I think is a testimony to, the work that people are doing on a daily basis as well. Well, we had an interesting experience of my son turned 18 in the middle of April, and I think it's fair to say that the family party and the going out, that he was hoping for certainly never took place. So the four of us, had a very competitive game of Monopoly, which is not how any 18-year-old boy wants to spend his 18th birthday, I suspect. But that family, we make sure that we try and spend, sort of Saturdays, sort of together. And I've really, really enjoyed that. Sort of my daughter should have moved out into a flat again in April, sort of, and that was put on hold. Having her here for a wee bit longer, sort of, and the four of us together, sort of really, sort of has been the best bit for me. I haven't enjoyed not being able to see the rest of my family. My mum lives in Glenrothes, which isn't that far away, and she's, if I'm not digitally able, she's completely hopeless. Sort of doesn't even have a mobile phone. So we've been relying on phone calls, and that's just the same as being able to see her face to face. So looking forward to that at some point in the future. But sort of, it has been a time for our family. We're lucky that we get on quite well at the best of times anyway, but this has really, really enforced it for us.